Westbrook's numbers last night mean absolutely nothing to me because even though that's great numbers, that's what Westbrook can do. We all know this. He's a former league MVP. He's the most athletic point guard we have ever seen in NBA history. He's been, I believe it was 4 conference finals in his career. We know this, but here's the reality of the situation. Russell Westbrook, when we look at his game, it's the same stuff every year.
Imagine dropping 35 points, 21 assists, 15 rebounds, and getting the W without your team's second best player, and instead of being praised for your performance, you're getting berated by the media for not having a ring. Yup, that was Russell Westbrook a few weeks ago, trending because he does not have a ring, all because he had an all-time great regular season performance. The NBA media cares so much about rings, yet hates super teams. I mean, let's take everyone's favorite broadcasting group, NBA TNT. How many times had Shaq bring up his 4 rings when losing an argument to Chuck? I mean, even Kenny Smith makes fun of Charles Barkley for not having a ring, even though everyone knows Chuck is a much better player than Kenny. I mean, even LeBron was getting hate for not winning a championship with his god-awful Cavs team during his first tenure with them. The NBA media creates super teams and don't even realize it. They cannot be oblivious that players watch them sometimes, or the narratives they create don't end up being heard by players. And that is how every modern NBA super team is formed. Players are scared to retire without a ring because their legacy will be looked as incomplete because they do not have one. I mean, LeBron before he left for Miami was getting berated for losing to teams in the NBA Finals or before the Finals. Yes, his team was garbage. Yes, no player in NBA history was going to win with that roster. Yet LeBron was getting slandered from every NBA media platform. He then makes the decision to go to Miami and team up with D Wade and Chris Bosh to form a super team. And you know what the media did? Cry, and cry some more. The same media that was bashing him for not winning with that terrible Cavs team is the same media that is pouncing on him for making moves to better his chances at winning a championship. The NBA media fails to see that the Miami Heat super team was a product that they created. The next super team to form was the 2017 to 2019 Warriors, consisting of a roster with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, Draymond Green, and newly acquired Kevin Durant. Many may argue that what KD did was wrong and ruined the NBA, and I agree. However, the media has to take accountability for it, as they are somewhat responsible for this. If any NBA player sees what the media says, it is Kevin Durant. KD argues with fans on Twitters, Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp, and even got caught having a burner account. So in 2016, when he got tired of being the second best player in the league for 4 years in a row, because he did not have the same championships LeBron had, he made a move to catch up to him. After the 2012 NBA Finals, the Thunder had one healthy year together, and that was in 2016. So from 2012 to 2015, KD was getting criticized for not having a championship, even though it was basically out of his control. And when he blew a 3-1 lead in 2016, the criticism got much worse. And with KD seeing this, he made a decision to almost guarantee himself a ring. The media then rightfully bashed him for not only changing teams while being up 3-1 and 1 game away from the finals, but also going to the team that beat him and just won 73 games the season before. A direct result of KD going to the Warriors was the rise of the narrative that James Harden is not a winner. Harden between 2017 to 2019 gave the Warriors their toughest challenge out of every NBA team in the league. In 2018, being up 3-2 on the greatest team of all time, his starting point guard Chris Paul injures his hamstring, and obviously Harden loses the series. The following year, Chris Paul was dealing with yet again injuries in the playoffs and had one of his worst playoff series of all time. And after all of that, his newly acquired starting point guard Russell Westbrook played the worst postseason series of his career because of a quad injury. James Harden in those 3 series averaged 30 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds with a 58 true shooting percentage, and yet was slandered by the media because he did not win a championship despite doing everything he could. So after that, Harden wanted to change the scenery, and he wanted an NBA title. So with that, Harden demanded a trade to the Brooklyn Nets, a team that already consisted of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Yeah, he could have chosen multiple teams that weren't as stacked, but after the media is downplaying your entire career because you don't have a ring, why not go to the team that best increases your chances? The same guys who were calling him a playoff choker despite being the best player on the court in multiple series he lost were losing their minds when he went to Brooklyn. If these media personalities were not constantly criticizing players for not having a ring, super teams would be a lot less popular. Allen Iverson is one of the most beloved players of all time, but I cannot imagine that would be the case if he played today. He would constantly get bashed for not having a ring, not being a good three-point shooter, and being somewhat inefficient. All narratives NBA media has constructed with being a non-successful NBA player. It is even affecting players at a young age. Ben Simmons and Embiid are constantly scrutinized for not having major playoff success 5 years into their very short careers. Even Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who have been to 2 Eastern Conference Finals, are getting told to blow it up and they should hire a new coach. Giannis was being told to leave the Bucks in free agency because he hasn't been to an NBA Finals and he's only 25. Michael Jordan was 28 by the time he won his first championship, and 24-year-old players are being told by the media they should leave their teams because they do not have a championship under their belt. Championships should hold a lot of weight in a player's legacy. Postseason success does matter when comparing players. However, two things can be true at once. The media is destroying small market teams because when they draft an awesome player and don't immediately surround it by a championship winning squad, the media criticizes the player, which makes the player question their legacy, and equation super teams are forced. The NBA media does not see the hypocrisy when they downplay an NBA legend's career because they do not have a ring, and when they put themselves in a situation to get a ring, they scrutinize them. Players like Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and Damian Lillard have two options: join a super team and get bashed by the media, or retire without a ring, losing to these super teams, and have your whole career criticized. Until the media appreciates the stars of the league, championship or not, super teams will get more and more popular.
And when your career is over, we will celebrate your greatness. But we celebrate you even more if you were a champion.